Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. And today, the Haynes family and all their team at Southeast simply want me to tell you, thank you. They have just moved into a brand new facility, bigger and better in every way, and they know that wouldn't have been possible without you, of course. You can count on their service to only improve, as it has year after year after year for nearly 50 years. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Give them a call. They say thanks to you, and I say thanks to them because they do a good job at my home. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, Josh Ward, Ryan Callahan, very quickly. 1 minute, Ryan. I'll start with you, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. Tennessee has a new commitment this week. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Chris Aprogene is how you pronounce it. Three-star offensive lineman from IMG Academy down in Florida. Actually a local guy, played at the Kings Academy in Seymour before moving to IMG earlier this year. An interesting player because he's originally from Nigeria, only a couple of years of football experience, and hasn't really shown himself against elite competition yet, so he's still a little bit of a wild card. The thing you have to like, he racked up more than 30 offers, and he went to Tennessee's camp last month, or one of them, and worked out for Tennessee's coaches, and then they offered him. They weren't totally sold on him, saw him, and liked him. Anytime a coaching staff sees him in person, decides to offer, I think you have to like that. Some divided opinions on him still. I know one site has him as a 4-star. Our analysts at 24/7 Sports have him as a 3-star. Not quite as sold on him, but this season at IMG will give a chance to show what he can do against better competition. I think he's a good player with some upside.
All right, Josh Ward, I'm going to get you. We're going to talk about 247sports.com right here. Here are their latest national rankings. Let's take there you go. Number 1 in the nation, Alabama. Number 2, Texas A&M. 4, LSU. Mississippi State, 11th. Good. Let's get that cup in there for Smoothie King. Number 12, Auburn. Number 14, Ole Miss. 15, South Carolina. 16, Georgia. And Tennessee's 18th. That's 9th in the SEC. Josh Ward. They're coming out of a dead period in a couple of weeks. How are they set up going into the fall?
I think Tennessee's set up in a good position now. As you can see, a lot of SEC teams are set up in a good position.
Yeah.
Tennessee's 18th nationally, which is really solid, but 9th in the SEC. A lot of work to be done. The reason I say I think Tennessee is in a good position because I think Tennessee's put together a nice start to the class, and Tennessee is in a favorable spot with highly touted players like Darnell Wright, an offensive lineman, athlete Quavaris Crouch, Jalen Curry, Chris Bogle. There are a lot of names to run through, but you also have to keep in mind they are big-time players with a lot of really good options. So Tennessee could land some of those guys, which would help Tennessee move up in the rankings, but some of those teams that are already ahead of Tennessee could also land some of those players. But the position Tennessee's in for a first-year staff coming off the 4-8 season, I think Tennessee is in a good spot moving forward.
And very quickly, you had an interesting note we were talking about in between segments here, just a kind of a reminder as to how this isn't the Bible when you look at recruiting and who you sign, how it ranks. Last year they had 3 guys right about now, and that hasn't turned out so well.
Yeah, 3 defensive linemen. It was going to be a big lineman class in Greg Emerson, DeAndre Littaker, Brent Lawless. Brent Lawless hasn't arrived. We don't know if it's going to happen. DeAndre Littaker's gone elsewhere, suffered a knee injury. Greg Emerson's on campus. We don't know 100% is he even a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman. Probably defensive line, but he moved around in the spring. So it's a reminder, what we say in July can very much change in December, February, and certainly 1 year later.
Yeah, so 12 months ago we were talking about how, oh wow, look at this
very
great
different
run
conversation.
they're on.
Yeah.
And watch senior seasons too. Brant Lawless's stock fell a little bit during his senior year, so that's something to watch with even these highly ranked guys committed.
Another guy, this is going to be very quick here, but J.J. Peterson, I've had some folks ask me on Twitter, some emails, I've had people talk. Where's J.J. Peterson? He was one of the crown jewels, if not the crown jewel in Jeremy Pruitt's first signing class, the 4-star linebacker. He's not on campus yet. And the reason is he's still working on academics. Now, there's still hope at Tennessee that he's going to be fine. He'll get in by the start of fall camp. But I don't think there's any question. You'd rather have him locked up and put away rather than still be dealing with academics in mid-July. So how big of a concern, recruiting guys, is that in terms of getting him on the roster?
I think legitimate concern at this point. Anytime you go all the way through the summer and haven't enrolled, it's anything is possible at that point. So I think obviously there's still a chance he could come in late July, early August in time for preseason camp. He could even come in time for the start of classes in mid-August to late August. Not a sure thing though at this point, and anything could happen.
And either way, he's missing time right now.
Okay, very good. When we come back, we're going to talk Tennessee's changing their cleats apparently. Ooh, that's big news. We'll talk about that. But also, I've added there's guys like Jalen Hurd who quit. I'm adding a letter. He's an ex-VFL. He's not just a VFL, it's an ex-VFL. Some incredible statements about ex-VFL Jalen Hurd from his new coach and some stats on this guy. We'll talk about whether or not he's going to be a good receiver at Baylor, whether you hear the measurements this guy's getting. Come on back.